After years of building homes, businesses, and a beautiful life together, Chip Gaines now faces the hardest chapter yet. Fans of Fixer Upper were stunned when news broke that Joanna has received a heartbreaking diagnosis, one that could change everything. Suddenly, hammers and renovations no longer matter. Chip is stepping out of the spotlight to stand by the woman who helped build it with him. So what happened to Joanna? And why now? The answer will leave you speechless. In the dazzling world of home design, Joanna Gaines stood as a quiet, powerful force. Her calm spirit and timeless charm made her more than a designer. She became a symbol of grace and peace. With Chip's boundless energy by her side, they brought not just homes but dreams back to life. Magnolia wasn't just a brand, it was a legacy of love and second chances. But in early 2025, behind the cheerful reveals and warm smiles, something fragile began to show. The signs were small at first. Joanna, usually tireless, started taking longer breaks. She moved more slowly, paused more often, and those closest to her started to worry. Joanna's once bright eyes now carried a shadow of exhaustion. She'd occasionally place a hand on her side, hiding an ache she didn't want others to see. Still, she pushed on, professional as ever. The lights stayed on, the cameras rolled, and Joanna kept going. Until one day everything stopped. During a countdown to the next shot. 5, 4, 3, Joanna collapsed. The set froze, then erupted in panic. Crew rushed to her. True to form, she whispered she was fine. But within the hour, flashing ambulance lights lit up the set. She was rushed to the hospital. The diagnosis was swift and serious. Systemic lupus erythematosus. Her immune system was attacking her own body, causing severe fatigue, pain, and flare-ups. Doctors were clear. No more filming, no meetings, no public life. Just rest. It was a crushing blow for someone who gave her all, every single day. And then Chip made a quiet, powerful choice. He walked away from a major media deal. No spotlight, no appearances, just Joanna. He chose love over fame, her smile over the camera. And in that quiet moment, far from the lights, their story found its truest depth. Let's explore the powerful silence that marked Chip Gaines's farewell. Known as the energetic, ever-smiling star of Fixer Upper, Chip lit up every room he renovated and inspired hope through second chances. But all of that came to a sudden pause when life demanded something deeper, when Joanna fell seriously ill. In a world obsessed with noise and relevance, Chip chose stillness. He stepped away from big deals, ignored calls, and left the spotlight, all to stand by her side. For a man always in motion, that silence spoke volumes. He stopped renovating homes and began tending to something more sacred, his wife's spirit. His once playful social media presence faded into quiet gestures of love. One photo said it all. Chip's hand wrapped around Joanna's, with the caption, "The light is always there, but sometimes it needs a little protection to continue shining." It wasn't just a caption, it was a vow. While Joanna faced treatments, fatigue, and fear, Chip became her quiet strength, handling school runs, making dinners, and walking beside her through their Waco garden. Their once busy home turned into a silent, sacred refuge. There were no press conferences, no dramatic exits. Chip simply stepped back. No cameras, no fanfare, just devotion. In a world chasing applause, he chose presence over performance. He stayed. Behind closed doors, a quieter story unfolded. Chip wasn't building homes. He was building a sanctuary. And in doing so, he reminded us that true courage is found in holding someone's hand through the dark. As Chip went silent, Magnolia slowed. Hidden behind farmhouse walls, something shifted. Not in headlines, but in the heart of their home. Joanna had fallen ill, not with something dramatic, but with a quiet illness that demanded rest and reflection. She, who had poured beauty and purpose into countless spaces, now needed the same care for herself. No posts, no statements, just stillness. Magnolia didn't collapse. It breathed. The pause wasn't defeat. It was healing. Joanna hadn't disappeared. She had chosen to retreat and rebuild from within. Her family didn't falter. They adapted. Ella, her eldest, quietly filled the spaces her mother left, not for praise, but out of understanding. Duke, still young, followed Chip into meetings, offering thoughtful input. Emmy K took over meal planning with love, mirroring Joanna's wellness journey. And little Crew, full of innocence, asked daily, "How's mommy today?" A question that meant more than any treatment. They weren't just surviving, they were evolving. Magnolia became more about rest than routine, presence over productivity. The children weren't just being raised, they were rising. Joanna wept, not from sorrow, but gratitude. What she had nurtured was blooming, not in decor, but in her children's hearts. Her rest didn't collapse the empire. It strengthened it. Magnolia was never just about shiplap or styling. It was about warmth, simplicity, and soul, a quiet embrace in a loud world. At its core were Chip and Joanna, not just creators but caretakers of a deeper dream. Even before the world knew of Joanna's illness, signs appeared. Magnolia House went up for sale. Projects slowed. TV specials paused. It wasn't strategy, it was survival. Public life faded into private moments. Journaling, voice notes, prayers. Joanna wasn't leaving Magnolia, she was healing at its heart. The brand began to reflect this shift. Chip grew more intentional, less spotlight, more stability. The children matured, walking Magnolia's halls with quiet pride. A new chapter had begun, one rooted in faith, family, and the strength found in stillness. There were no grand announcements, no curated posts or flashy news. But behind closed doors, changes were happening, not driven by charts or trends, but by care, love, and necessity. Then one day, Joanna came back. She wore a thick coat. She looked thinner, more fragile. But there was a calm in her eyes that said she had found something deeper. The family had prepared a quiet welcome. No cameras, just hugs, laughter, and a cup of warm tea from Emmy. She smiled and walked through the warehouse, touching the displays like they were old memories. Magnolia hadn't changed much, but she had. And in that moment, something beautiful happened. Magnolia didn't rise again as a business. It rose again as a sanctuary, a place built not on hustle but on healing. As Chip and Joanna step aside and their children step in, a fresh breath is observed in the atmosphere. Let's find out what the next generation's step up is up to. When the next generation stepped up as Chip and Joanna Gaines gently stepped out of the spotlight, the world watched with bated breath. Their Magnolia empire in Waco, built with heart, grit, and years of sweat, could have faltered. The air was thick with uncertainty. But instead of crumbling, something unexpectedly beautiful took root. From the quiet corners of the Gaines household, 19-year-old Ella Gaines emerged, not with noise or fanfare, but with quiet strength and purpose. As your home evolves and as the story of your family evolves, you know you want to make these spaces work for you. Long before Joanna's health scare, Ella had already started to explore the family business. During her senior year, she interned at Magnolia, attended design meetings, and shadowed her mother, absorbing the creative process with a respectful curiosity. She wasn't just observing. She was learning, soaking in the essence of design, branding, and storytelling. She paid attention to the little things that made her mother's work feel so alive. Then came the moment of truth. When Joanna's illness forced her to take a step back, Ella didn't hesitate. She didn't falter. She leaned in. What began as helping coordinate small team check-ins soon turned into something far more significant. Ella started translating her mother's design visions into action, jumping on brief calls, posting to social media, responding to emails from powerhouse partners like Target. She was learning to lead with grace, not pressure. It wasn't a burden. It was a calling. Her calm and steady presence brought reassurance to the team. She wasn't just Joanna's daughter. She was a bridge between the past and the future. She wasn't trying to fill her mother's shoes. She was carrying forward her spirit. Meanwhile, Joanna continued her treatment journey. Though her body grew weaker, her mind remained a lighthouse of clarity. And Chip, ever faithful, he was by her side, just as he had been during every significant moment of their shared life. The hospital chair he once sat in for childbirth now bore witness to a new kind of devotion. Magnolia didn't fade. It shifted. And the silence surrounding Joanna only deepened fans' devotion. Every glimpse, every subtle update, was cherished. Chip never made a dramatic farewell. He didn't need to. His quiet withdrawals, his absence from interviews, and his soft presence beside his wife said everything. They weren't retreating. They were evolving. And at the heart of this quiet transformation stood Ella, gracefully threading legacy into the future, proving that in moments of challenge, love and leadership bloom the brightest. With Ella Gaines stepping into her parents' shoes, attention is drawn to her. Let's look into the details of her blossoming journey. Gray concrete, and then really pretty walnut, just cabinetry throughout. The blossoming journey of Ella Rose Gaines, Chip and Joanna Gaines, America's favorite home renovation couple, were filled with joy when they welcomed their first daughter, Ella Rose, on October 20, 2006. Since then, fans have watched Ella grow not just in years, but in grace, creativity, and ambition, right before their eyes. Her story is more than just sweet. It's inspiring, deeply relatable, and a beautiful reflection of the values her family holds dear. By the time Ella turned 13 in 2019, Joanna began to see something familiar blossoming in her daughter. Ella is like me, Joanna shared in a heartfelt interview with People. She's interested in a little bit of everything, just like I've always been. And indeed, Ella's heart was already reaching for the stars, dreaming not of one career path but many. She wanted to cook, design, and even run her own donut truck. We are wanting to shoot a cover for summer, and the theme is risk. That kind of passion doesn't come out of nowhere. It's the kind that's nurtured by love and example. But her dreams weren't just words. Ella turned them into action. At a young age, she started her own bakery business right from their home kitchen. In 2018, Joanna proudly took to Instagram to share her daughter's summer endeavor. She sells her baked goods at my office when she visits, she wrote. That night, Ella had stayed up late baking Aunt Opal's banana pudding and chocolate chip cookies from her mom's cookbook. It was more than a fun project. It was a glimpse into her entrepreneurial spirit and creative drive. Beyond baking, Ella also found joy in the garden. In one memorable Fixer-Upper episode, she and her younger sister Emmy joined their mom in tending to their rose garden. Joanna shared how much she valued those bonding moments. I love teaching the girls about gardening, she said. But really it's the time spent together that I cherish most. Then came October 2022. Ella turned 16. It was a milestone that brought a flood of emotions for Joanna. Along with a touching video of their home decorated for the special day, she wrote, "My sweet girl turns 16. I'm trying my darndest not to cry like a big fat mama baby when she drives off by herself tomorrow." Ella Rose is clearly her mother's daughter. Curious, determined, and full of dreams. From cookies to rose petals, from office sales to heartfelt car rides, she's carving her path with courage and warmth, one small but beautiful step at a time. Something about growing your own food, growing your own flowers, and I'm telling you, is really sweet. It's special. It is not surprising to see Ella stepping in, as they have all been raised to fit the spot. Let's take a quick dive into the details of how the Gaines raised their children. Behind the glowing lights of television stardom and the success of the Magnolia brand, Chip and Joanna Gaines live a life that's refreshingly real and deeply meaningful to millions. They are icons of style and inspiration, their home transformations capturing hearts across the globe. But inside the four walls of their Waco, Texas home, they hold a much more cherished title. Mom and dad to their 5 children, Drake, aged 20, Ella, aged 18, Duke, aged 17, Emmy, aged 15, and Crew, aged 6. Chip and Joanna aren't celebrities. They are simply the parents who tuck them in at night, give guidance, and share laughter at the dinner table. Their story didn't begin on screen. It began quietly in a small-town wedding on May 31, 2003. They had no idea then that their journey would become one of the most admired love stories in modern family life. Yet as their fame grew, their roots remained strong. For the Gaines family wasn't something to be maintained, it was something to be fiercely protected and intentionally nurtured. Chip, the fun-loving handyman millions have come to adore, never imagined fatherhood would transform him so deeply. He once pictured himself as the laid-back dad, the one who hands out candy before dinner and encourages muddy backyard adventures. But when the babies came, so did a new awareness. "I turned into more of a coach than a clown," he said. Fatherhood, he discovered, isn't just a role, it's a calling. One that reshapes your heart, shifts your priorities, and makes you want to become the best version of yourself. It's just that we had a production company call us about, 8 years ago. Joanna, with her graceful presence and thoughtful ways, has always dreamed of creating a home where peace and love reign. Our kids are still growing, still discovering who they are, she reflected. And we want their childhood to be rooted in simplicity, meaning, memories. Yet even as they strive for normalcy, the outside world often reminds them of their celebrity status. "At home we're just us," Joanna says. But outside, the cameras and crowds sometimes blur the line. Still, through it all, one value remains their compass: kindness. "Every day we remind our kids, be kind," Joanna shared. "It's not about being perfect. It's about seeing others, lifting them, and leaving a gentle mark on the world." Their true masterpiece isn't found on any screen or store shelf. It's the family they're raising, anchored in faith, love, and lasting values. That, to them, is the most beautiful home they've ever built. Now that the Gaines have someone to step in, let's delve into the details of the legacy that is reborn. "I'm selling tires." His roommate was there, redefining legacy. The story of Chip and Joanna Gaines has always been more than home makeovers and real estate. From the very first episode of Fixer Upper, viewers weren't just tuning in for shiplap walls or farmhouse sinks. They were drawn to the way Chip and Joanna looked at each other, the laughter they shared, the faith they held on to, the grace and warmth that made their southern charm feel like home. It wasn't just a show. It was a love story. But even the strongest love stories need a pause, a rewrite, a new direction. Now Joanna is walking through a different chapter, one where the spotlight dims a little and the pace slows. She's not racing to perfect another room or shape a lifestyle empire. Instead, she's listening to her body, her soul, and the quiet that healing brings. And so to me this is the most important message when it comes to authenticity. That's why we love that it's like the first thing you see when you walk in. The woman once known for bold designs is now crafting something more meaningful. A memoir that whispers of stillness, fear, family, and faith. Magnolia Books calls it their most personal project yet, and perhaps their most important. Chip, too, has shifted. The playful, wide-eyed dreamer hasn't disappeared. He's just turned inward, choosing to be the steady calm in their home storm. Less on camera, more in the moment. He's protecting their peace with quiet strength, proving that real success isn't about building bigger, but holding closer. Production on Magnolia Network is on pause for now. But this isn't a retreat, it's a reset. There's no urgency to get back on set because the only audience that truly matters is the one gathered around their dinner table. Joanna isn't stepping away from life. She's stepping into it. Slowly, bravely, authentically. Her children don't need her to build a brand anymore. They just need her to be okay. And this time, she's choosing herself, unapologetically. Because true strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Rest. The Gaines family isn't shrinking. They're settling deep, grounding their roots. Their legacy won't be measured in ratings or retail. It will be remembered in the resilience of a woman who healed out loud, a husband who stood still for her, and a family that found purpose not in fame, but in faith, love, and quiet grace. What do you think about Chip Gaines's farewell and his daughter's grand entry? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.